Well, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome to our Planets Through Ascendant videos of this week. And this week we're going to be covering Sun in the 4th house for Cancer Ascendant people. And what happens when your Sun is in the 4th house in the sign of Libra for a Cancer Ascendant. And as always, if you do not know what your Ascendant is, where your Sun is placed, all your other planetary placement, including all the other details, and my books, Astrology, Conjunction, and Aspects at the Speed of Light, including all my consultations, check out the links here. Otherwise, let's get started with our plans to ascendants. So, today we're covering Cancer Ascendant and Sun's position in Cancer Ascendant. And so for Cancer Ascendant person, Sun rules the 2nd house of family, status, wealth, assets, speech, food intake, and it's ruled by the sign of Leo, which is the regal sign of royalty. So now, ruler of the 2nd house, which is Sun, is in the 4th house. And this is different from Sun being in the 4th house or Sun being in the sign of Libra, because those are two separate things. Now we're combining them together, and now Sun is ruling a certain house. So what happens here? First of all, as you know, Sun is the karka of our energy, vitality. It represents our, strength of our ego, our self-esteem. This is where our personality comes into play. Sun is the significator of father, government. So here what happens, Sun is first of all, is without its directional strength, meaning it's Digbala. Because whenever Sun is in the 4th house, you should automatically know that the person was born around midnight. And people born in midnight, up to I think 1 a.m. or so, will have Sun in the 4th house. And what this shows, growing up, these people were first of all extremely creative, because Libra is a sign of creativity because it's the Mool Trikon sign of Venus. So it shows tremendous amount of creativity. But it shows that the person only likes to express their creativity from privacy of their own home. So what happens is this person is very introverted. They don't like to go out. They don't like to be in a crowd and talking about themselves because of the fact their ego gets hurt early on in life. Anytime they try to do something with like the Sun would do, which is to brighten up and show its light to people, somehow something happens and they extract back. So it takes literally around the age of 27, 28, 30 for these people to come about and to come into their senses, to come into their personality, to have the light of their chart come about. And usually what this shows is that these people would do very well in fields of arts, creativity in their school years versus actual, subjects related to mathematics or science. Also, because Sun represents your father, shows your father either is a businessman related to land, real estate, hospitality, is a creative person, an architect himself. At the same time, because Sun rules your 2nd house of family and is in the 4th house, shows one always looks for the approval of the family to find their ego. Because right now, especially if your Sun is at 10 degrees, 8 to 10 or 12 degrees, you will feel very low in your vitality, energy, and your ego because of the fact you have no support of the family. Because the 2nd lord is debilitated in the 4th house. And 4th house becomes the house of home, dwelling, mother. And so shows that because Sun is a very hot planet, there's always these like sword fights with the mother. You may love your mother, but somehow you just cannot live with the same opinion. There's always some different opinion. But if there are benefic aspects on Sun, if Jupiter looks at Sun, or Sun is with Venus and Mercury here, it actually shows you were born in a regal family. You were born in royalty. Even though Sun is debilitated, yet Sun receives this support here and shows one will rise to their throne later on in life. But then if malefic planets aspect the Sun, then it's going to be even more of the damage of the ego, or relationship with the father, or relationship with the mother, or because of your chart, the mother kind of suffers. And it's not because of your chart. You're simply just showing that your mother now has to pay her karma. That's it. But later on in life, see, Sun can never be below the horizon forever, even in the birth chart. There's something called progression sequence in a birth chart, where a planet does not really stay there. It virtually kind of moves to a different house. So Sun as well, slowly comes to the 10th house in your life and then activates your life. So usually people who have the Sun in the 4th house will find far more success later on in their life than trying to find success early, unless there's a support of Venus with Sun. Or if Mars is in Kendra, meaning Mars, the planet where Sun is exalted, because Sun is exalted in the sign of Aries. So Mars is in the 1st, 4th, 7th, or 10th house especially. This Sun will get a cancellation of its debilitation, and you'll be able to find your success much early in life. But if there's no support of the Neech Bhang, if there's no support of Venus, there will be this angle of wanting to express yourself creatively, yet that creative fire will only be ignited when you reach a certain age, a certain stage in your life, when that maturity of the Sun takes over. And also, with this, you will realize that they're not very good runners or good in sports, because they lose their vitality and their strength. When they run, they do not have enough energy to run. Unless, like I said, if there's a cancellation of debilitation, then a person can be good in sports. But here, because Sun represents the life force within us, the energy within us, the person loses their energy very quickly, because Sun cannot restore energy too much because it's debilitated. So when you're in your youth and you're wanting to become that athlete, you want to become that cricketer or that basketball player, it's going to be hard, because you're going to have a lot of energy to run back and forth, where your Sun gathers this much energy, okay, in a day, and you exert it this much just within quarter of a period. So this is why these people are far better in doing activities which are, more creative, more within the home. But obviously, if you love playing sports, play the sports. Just don't expect to be, the next David Beckham or something. But also, Sun here, being the second lord in the 4th house, meaning third from itself. And 2nd house represents what? Earnings. Our source of earnings. So because 2nd lord is third from itself, shows one earning is going to come through their own effort, especially in a creative field, home-related business, land, real estate. Now, obviously, you hear a lot of classical example, like if Sun is debilitated in the 4th house, you'll never be able to get a property. That's wrong. You got to look at positions of the Sun in the divisional charts. D9 chart, D4 chart, D16 chart, D60 chart. And then you conclude, okay, what is the position of the Sun or the 4th house? And especially these people do excellent in fields of business. They should not go for government jobs. If you have this and you have this dream of, I want to become an IS officer like my best friend is trying to do. Well, remember, your best friend was born in a completely different circumstances. Their Sun might be exalted. Yours is not only debilitated, but it's without the directional strength. And if it doesn't have a Neech Bhang, doesn't have the support of the dispositor Venus, then trying to go for government work or government job will just be a flat out struggle. Like you just will not even get an interview for those positions because Sun is the Karaka of government. Later on in life, if your Sun is well placed in different charts and comes out, then of course Sun is going to help you with government related issues. And you can work for government, go in politics. Especially 4th house can make a great politician, a very creative politician. Like who knows how to creatively mesmerize the crowd. But it all happens late in life. Okay? So guys, this was my analysis of Sun in the 4th house for Cancer Ascendant people. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And again, if you want to know where your Sun is placed and all your other planetary placements, my books, consultations, for that check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.